Thanks, Steve. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a convening of the Massachusetts Gaming Commission. We're holding this meeting virtually, so I'll take a roll call. Good afternoon, Commissioner O'Brien.
Good afternoon, I'm here.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Hill.
Good afternoon, I'm here.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Skinner.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Maynard.
Good afternoon.
Okay. So this is the convening of the public meeting that is a continuation of an evaluation of our applications for the untethered Category 3 sports wagering licenses. This is the beginning of our evaluative process. My notes indicate that it is public meeting number 425. So commissioners, I have some introductory remarks that will help us think about our work ahead. Today, we will move into the final phase of our evaluation, which is identified as section 5 on today's agenda. This is the final evaluation to determine whether to allow an applicant to proceed in the process and pursue a temporary operator's license. We'll begin the process today, but in all likelihood, and I think we can be assured, given our established end time this afternoon, we will have to continue our review tomorrow. It's important to note that even though we may award up to 7 licenses, we need not award a license to each of the 6 applicants before us. We should only award licenses to applicants that meet the evaluation standard that we will undertake today. There are 2 parts to this stage of the evaluation. The first part, which will begin today, is a review of the applications in light of the submission of supplemental information by the respective applicants to address any questions or concerns brought forth by the Commission during the initial review of the particular application. Today, we will review outstanding materials and confirm whether they satisfy our initial request. Tomorrow, we will continue our review, and if an applicant did not satisfy the Commission's expectations in relation to any section of their application during that initial review, we will discuss whether the issue or deficiency has been cured via the supplemental information provided, or whether the strength of the rest of the application effectively compensates for the deficiency, or whether, in the alternative, a condition addressing the issue is appropriate. The second part of the review encompasses the 7th factor outlined in 205 CMR 218.06, subsection 6A. This can best be described as a collective review where the Commission considers how granting any particular application or combination of applications would maximize overall benefits and minimize overall harms or the risk of harms to the Commonwealth. In reviewing all the applications collectively, we must make a determination. In the case of each of the 6 applicants, if under the substantial evidence standard, a license award to the applicant would benefit the Commonwealth, that the applicant has not only satisfied the regulatory factors, but also that in light of the entire landscape of sports wagering in the Commonwealth, that the granting of the license will maximize the overall benefits and minimize overall harms or risk of harms to the Commonwealth. So let's begin the first part of this process by establishing what the final version of each applicant's proposal is by considering any supplemental information provided and whether such information has adequately addressed the issue. We've asked that Crystal Boschman refresh our collective memories as to each of the areas in which each applicant was asked to provide supplemental information, as well as an indication as to whether supplemental materials have been provided. We have in our top of our email boxes, Crystal's Excel sheet that will be really helpful. And at this stage, I'm going to ask Crystal to begin that process. We go along, let's make sure that we're satisfied Crystal will keep an ongoing list along with Todd and Karen as to any additional information we may need. Crystal, can you start then with Bolly's Interactive, please?
Of course. Good afternoon, commissioners. So in your Excel sheet, which I know you guys have already taken a look at, we have these 5 tabs. I will just go right through those. So if you have any questions, stop me.
And
For
Crystal,
Bali-
it's okay to pause to allow us to go through too, because there's quite a bit of material, so thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for Bali's, the first piece of information requested as a supplement within section C was an update on all the jobs related to Massachusetts positions and any employment opportunities. We did receive from them various job descriptions on several positions that they anticipate. Those are all in the document and in the SharePoint access. Alongside that, they provided the separate response that I've included in here about the roles and the number of employees. If there are no questions, I'll move to the next piece. Okay. Again, in section C, the commissioners had asked for a community involvement update, especially what is imagined for the Commonwealth, and they have provided a supplemental answer related to community engagement. As part of that, they asked for information about the Bally's Foundation. That was provided, as well as the GameSys Foundation trustees report. So those are both included in your document and in your SharePoint portal.
Can we pause there, commissioners? On the earlier tab, or the earlier link, any questions with respect to the positions? Let's just check. I know that Crystal checked in too, but Crystal, I'm not sure if we have notations as to the commissioner who requested each. So commissioners, if you recall asking for it, perhaps Councilor Grossman, you have that. I'd love confirmation that it satisfies. You have a memory.
I may have notes within my other document. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, the community engagement one was Commissioner Hill. That's the one involving the Bally's Foundation. And I believe the others were based on inquiries from Commissioner Skinner.
And O'Brien are my notes.
Commissioners, and I do want you all to take the time that you need. This is our opportunity to make sure we're all set. I know one document is marked confidential, so
I can speak for myself as to section D, which is, I was with Commissioner Skinner on requesting that information. As to Bally's, I've got what I need.
on section, did you say D?
D, yep, D.
D, yeah.
Typically around
Okay.
Vendor spend and workforce.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know if Chris had gotten to that yet, Commissioner Maynard, but that's fine too. So if, we'll just go and look at all the outstanding matters. Commissioner Maynard, you asked about with Commissioner Skinner on workforce, so those are satisfied to you?
Madam
you?
Chair,
Yes.
this is Commissioner Hill, and I'm satisfied with the supplements to Section C.
Excellent.
Chair, I'm satisfied with the supplementation for Section D. In fact, I think the information provided is more expansive than I had asked for, and I appreciate that. Very comprehensive.
Excellent, Commissioner Skinner.
Yeah, I'm satisfied with what I had asked for C, and D is fine with me also.
Okay, excellent. And Chris, hearing that everyone seems satisfied with these, is there anything that is outstanding from this particular applicant?
There is not. They've submitted all requests.
And it says that on our sheet, but I just wanted to make sure. Thank you so much. Confirmation that all requests have been received. Thanks, Crystal, for that. Okay, Commissioner, should we move then on to better? All set to move on? I guess that means move on. Crystal, why don't you walk us through it?
Okay, so there were several requests for supplements to better. Section B, the first request was for the current diversity spend to place the goals that they had stated into context. We did receive a supplemental letter that I've included. As part of that, we had requested the veteran and LGBTQ plus workforce update, and they have requested that. Both of those are in your document. I'll stop there because that's D. And those were requested by Commissioner Skinner. I'll note here, though, this was a little bit different. When we went through the meets standard for the applications, every commissioner did note that they had already met the requested, they had met what we were looking for here, but we just were requesting some supplements to keep them on par with what we requested from other applicants. So I don't know that we need to further see if this meets. I think we're okay there.
And so we're not going to go through the entire application today on the section by section. We'll do that first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just looking for making sure
Making-
that you got what you need. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you for noting that. And we have that chart. Thank you. And then the response on section E.
For section E, you were looking for the approved responsible gaming plan. They've submitted the plan that was approved for Ohio and the plan with intent for Massachusetts, as well as the audience segments, the demographics specifically related to the social media presence. They've provided that. The chart is actually right in your document. That was the full request for section E.
So I have a question on, but I don't think it's for public consumption. I think it's drilling down into some of the numbers that I'd asked for. I'd been hoping for a breakdown of 18 to 20 versus an 18 to
Hmm.
24 or something, I think is how they break it down. So
I can follow up with them.
I'm wondering if that's all they can get access to, or
It may be
because,
full, but I will see if we can at least get a response for that request.
yeah, I mean, it could be the industry that only churns them out in those tranches. I don't know, but
In my experience, they have these tranches, but some
can
do
drill down
have
deeper.
The breakout, so I will look into what they're, it depends on what they're using.
Okay.
Make sure they have their plus. They do have at the bottom the 18 plus versus the 21 plus, so I think that shows the 18 to 20 segment kind of, but
Okay, let me look at that again then.
it's highlighted in yellow.
And can, Councilor Grossman, can you remind us of each commissioner that requested the information? If you have that? Otherwise, commissioners, maybe you recall?
This one.
That the stats was me, I believe.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
In terms of the supplier diversity spend, perhaps both Commissioner Maynard and Commissioner Skinner at the
Yeah,
top.
I think I requested that. I'm just going back. I viewed the supplemented documentation. I'm just going back to review what was originally provided as part of the application. And I just need some clarification. So I do see, now I have to get back to it. Sorry. I have to get my documents together, so feel free to come back to me if you need to, but I'm looking at.
And I'm sure that everybody understands that we received a lot of this material in real time. So we're looking at it at real time, and we are very appreciative of all the responses being provided in timely fashions. So thank you.
So in the
We've had
supplement,
the benefit of last night, but this is still an important exercise for us to go through today.
But my memory, Commissioner Skinner, is that they had put a goal in the materials, but then we wanted to see what the current state of affairs were. That's my memory. So I see what you're
Yeah.
looking at, but I think there was a number.
and that's what I'm looking for. I don't see any goals in the original material. Did you see Commissioner Maynard?
Yeah, I think it was in their presentation, but I'm also pulling it up too.
Yeah, I don't see any goals for MBE, VBE, but I do see in the supplemented documentation, there's a percentage of overall spend, at least minority and small business spend. But as I read the request, it's current diversity spend, so goals can be placed in context. That's what's written here as requested. But I think what I might have asked for is the total spend, to put whatever diversity spend, you're making currently into context. There's definitely some supplemented information here. I'm just not sure how to interpret it, to be honest with you. That's what I'm struggling with.
I can submit additional requests to them.
Commissioner Skinner, are you saying that you'd like confirmation that a goal was set and that you haven't been able to find that Is that-
In their presentation, it says they commit to 30% of their supplier and vendor spend tied to organizations identified as diverse. So I think that's why we were asking for what that spend would be.
Okay, thank you, Crystal. That's helpful. I was working off of paper copies and I don't have the benefit of,
I have 3 screens, so.
thank you.
Yes, so I think if there's any further response we want to follow up on, I can certainly do that. But that's what I see in the.
Yeah, just in keeping with the original request for supplementation, I am looking for, and I'm not gonna, say that the section doesn't meet expectations without that, but it was a request that I had. What the current total spend, so that we can put the current spend on minority businesses into context.
I will follow up as soon as this is over. And I think they're probably tuned in as well.
Well, am I right that it says 7%? Whoops. I don't know if this is protected or not. Or something. I'm not gonna say anything further.
Yeah, I read it, Madam Chair, Commissioner Skinner, I read it, that first graph is currently where they are, and then they're wanting, and they publicly said this, get to 30%. So that's how I read the information.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, but what's missing too is, I guess women, the women category is included in the minority category. That's what I'm struggling with that too. We have minority-owned businesses and women-owned businesses, so it's not quite broken down in the way that we're used to seeing. Madam Chair, I didn't catch that.
I was gonna say, I wasn't sure who was speaking. I didn't.
That was Karen just giving me something unrelated. I said, thank you. My apologies.
Okay. Okay, I have all of that noted and I will follow up.
Okay. And perhaps we can even just circle back to that. Perhaps there'll be some clarity from the applicant. Okay.
Okay, so that was sections D and E. Would you like me to move on to G?
Before you do that, Crystal, the other subsection of D, where supplementation was requested, it meets, as far as I'm concerned.
And that was your request. I remember that one. So
Yeah.
you're all set on the LGBTQ veteran workforce update, correct?
Correct.
All right. Great. So then, in terms of the responsible gaming plan, had both the Ohio and the one tailored for Massachusetts. I believe Commissioner O'Brien, was that your request? Or maybe Councilor Grossman, you have that noted?
I unfortunately did not have this one noted. This was, I believe this was part of what we were thinking would be more of a ongoing request prior to licensing, related more to a condition, but they got us this, so I included it in here. I think Todd might have some notes.
I think that's right. Unfortunately, I didn't take down which commissioner requested that, but just that the plan was requested.
I think it was me, because I have something in my notes.
Yeah, I think
You the box around it, really my question.
I think it was yours, Commissioner O'Brien.
Yeah, I had that, and then the audience segment demographics and the article. I think those were the three I had under. They kind of cross E and G. They kind of cross purpose, really.
And I think perhaps the section G on the complaints, I think you requested those too.
Yes. I have that.
I think perhaps Commissioner Skinner, you as well.
Yeah, I thought Commissioner Skinner had asked for it. Maybe I did as well.
You might have joined in. So I'll just check in with you, Commissioner O'Brien. I'm not sure if you're ready to state it.
So-
but are you,
Yeah,
okay?
so I have not had an opportunity to look at the complaints that were submitted. I've looked at the responses to briefly to the others, not in depth. I think there was one stat that was missing. It was unclear to me whether it's not attainable. There was one medium where it wasn't available.
I'm sorry.
I think there was one medium when I was asking for demographic stats. I believe.
On the demographic. stat.
Yeah.
Can we just go back to the complaints though? I understand you
Yeah.
haven't had a chance to read them and perhaps that will be important for tomorrow's review, but can we agree that
But
they?
in terms
that-
of supplying,
they-
check the box that they
Okay,
gave them
thank
to us like
you. So we're all
best.
set on that. Now going up to the stats, the demographic stats. I know you're looking for a particular segment that's not included. We're not sure if Better could supply that, but can you be precise as to what segment you're asking?
I have both.
I thought there was one disclaimer when they gave us some stats. Oh, Twitter.
Yes, it was, and it's the 18th one, so I have both those. So,
Yeah.
Crystal,
I
I couldn't.
don't know if that was a time
Sorry.
thing or just a can't get it to you thing.
Oh, that Twitter data
Yeah.
was not. Gonna be
Yeah.
available.
I'll follow up.
Okay, so you'd like that as well. So, Commissioner O'Brien, would you say at this point, it has not yet been met, or you're looking for more?
I'm looking for clarity on whether it's not available at all or whether it was just they didn't have time to get it to us.
Okay. And then in terms of the 2 responsible gaming plans,
I have not had a chance to review them, but I see that they did submit them.
okay. So we can give credit for that. And then in terms of the response to the article,
Yep. I saw that.
and that's all set then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love the answer, but it is, that's their answer. So they check the box. They gave me the answer.
Okay, thank you. There was a question about how things are going with the Ohio launch update. Do you remember whose question that was?
I think that was me as well.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep. And they gave us the update.
And you're good.
Yep.
And then I think they clarified on the GLI certification. Don't know if that came organically when we asked about that from GLI, but we were all set on that.
I think that was just a bonus update.
Okay. Just a bonus update.
But I included it, and it's in the documents.
So on line number 13, Crystal, we just have, it was just a couple of things that are outstanding.
Yes. Follow up on the initial notes. Okay. Thank you.
And you see the stats too on section G.
Sorry.
Commissioner O'Brien, so you see the additional chart on
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
All right. All right. Commissioners, any questions on Better except for the couple of outstanding matters that Commissioner O'Brien's raised? All right. Hearing none. Crystal, you want to take us? Oh, so sorry. Commissioner.
I'm looking at the supplier diversity plan. I think one of the missing pieces was goals relative to increasing supplier diversity. And I see that Better has provided, oh wait, nope, I'm sorry. I've moved ahead, so never mind. Forgive me.
You're okay? All right.
Okay, I'm okay, thank you.
That's good. Okay, thank you. All right, so, and again, if somebody comes up, you know, if you think of something, we can go back, so no worries. We'll move on then to FanDuel. Beth, your FanDuel.
Yep, so for FanDuel, the first supplement we had requested was related to section C, the breakout of the diversity for the Commonwealth employees and across their level of position, as well as in the C-suite. We received a supplement that included those demographics, as well as the ones requested in D, so I'll get to that. For FanDuel, they were provided one response letter with everything in it, so that's linked in here.
I think that might have been my request relative to FanDuel. I still don't see any goals in the supplemented material, but I am still reviewing. Commissioner Maynard, did you happen to?
I was waiting for you to bring it up because I thought that last section when you said rolling over, I mean, I think section C, I've got everything I need. I just, for section D, I'll have to join Commissioner Skinner and say, I mean, if the answer is no, the answer is no. But that's what it looks like it is to me right now.
Yeah, I interpret the supplemented materials to say that there is a plan to develop goals. And if that's the case, and I see heads nodding, then I would need to review the plan. So I'm not prepared to comment on this section today.
Yes, for section D, their response was that they're taking steps toward the goals in the plan, but for section C, they did provide the demographics requested.
Or I would say, Commissioner Skinner, that if we don't get to review the plan, that I've got to weigh that in this comparative analysis.
Yes, and I would join in that, Commissioner. And I also believe section C meets expectations after supplementation.
All right, and we'll go through that, not organized fashion, but thank you, and because you can note that, Commissioner Skinner. But so, Commissioner Skinner, and I hear you saying that they didn't provide the plan for establishing the goal. Is that what you're looking for? I do see steps that they're proposing.
They did provide the plan. They didn't provide actual goals, however, but the plan will get them there eventually.
And so what you would like is what's outstanding for you?
Just time to review the plan, time to review the submission.
Okay. So that can roll over for tonight. Would that be possible?
Yes. But they have checked the box, as Commissioner O'Brien, the term she used.
Okay.
To you.
We'll take that. That's very, very helpful. Thank you. Okay. There was the issue around DFS taxation.
Yes.
I believe that was Commissioner O'Brien. Are you all set with that answer?
Yeah, I believe it was partially rectified and then I think imminently to be rectified, right? If I read it correctly.
Registered, and then Kara confirmed receipt of their certification today.
Yes, great.
Okay. So commissioners who made those increases, is there anything other than time that we need in terms of to review? Is there anything else that we're missing? And Crystal, I don't see your green box, but is there anything that you know of that's been requested that hasn't been provided?
No, they submitted everything. They submitted a response to everything. The only reason I didn't include the green box was because they dedicated section D to an in progress. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Would you like me to move to DraftKings?
Well, just for making a note, just one sec. Okay. To DraftKings, please.
Okay. So our first submission from DraftKings was related to section D. Again, regarding the diversity goals, they had included some in their slides, but the request was for it to be put in writing and the overall vendor spend, again, for context, as well as potential goals for supplier diversity. They submitted the slide as well as a response, which I've included in here. And today we actually received another update with the MBE, BBE, and WBE goals for the businesses for 2023.
With respect to section D, I believe Commissioner Skinner and Commissioner Maynard, did the responses satisfy you?
I'm satisfied.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All righty.
Yep.
Now, with respect to section G,
Yes, for section G, we asked them to provide an update related to their Ohio launch, and they have submitted the response included.
I don't remember who asked that. Are we all set with that response?
I believe it was Commissioner O'Brien.
I'm satisfied.
Okay.
And the additional two that are noted in here were updates they provided based on conversations and having watched what the commission is interested in. So one of those is an advertising update. You'll see in line 7, and line 6 is, line 6, you'll see a bunch of little pictures noting some visual renderings were related to responsible gaming, but they just thought you would be interested in noting that they've made those adjustments in the mobile app.
Because I'm just having trouble finding those little,
If you look on line 8, there's a little link that says supplements, and that leads to the entire.
yeah, so I'm
So
there.
it's
and
all
then-
those little mobile app footer, mobile app sidebar, if you click on them, they're just pictures, they're screenshots.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, so
There it
you
comes with
actually see them until you're clicked in, but they're all screenshots of their headers, footers, and sidebars in the app.
Yeah.
Related to. So
I saw them,
little added bonuses as well.
just wasn't quite responsive, but now I got them. Thanks. Okay. And thank you for that to DraftKings.
So I noted that all requests had been received.
Okay, so those were just giving us additional information, which we welcome. Thank you. So if there's nothing outstanding on DraftKings, Crystal?
Everything's been received.
Okay, commissioners all set then on DraftKings, moving on to DGC.
Okay.
Digital Gaming Court?
Yep.
Okay,
Gaming Corp, we had a request in section C for the overall supplier diversity spend in context to their goals. They have submitted a supplemental letter, which I've attached.
I believe the overall supplier diversity spend request relates to section D. And I don't recall if I asked for it, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think we decided that section,
I think it came up in section C while we were talking about the Massachusetts, their commitment there. But it would be more relevant to section D. And I think in their response, they refer to their section D of their application in their original response.
commissioners, in terms of section C, do you need more time?
I'm good as to C.
yeah, I'd like to be too, but I still don't see what was requested, which is the overall spend. But I'm noting the clarification that was made relative to the marketing budget versus their overall.
Mm-hmm. which was where it first came up, was in section C because of that.
Yeah, and I mean that the information's not required. The information that I requested isn't required. But noting we didn't get an overall spend for one of the other applicants, I don't know if that's something that is just not readily available or just something that applicants just aren't willing to share.
Were you able to extrapolate or kind of reverse engineer on it?
Well, let me go back to the DGC.
I think the answer you're looking for, Commissioner Skinner, is paragraph 6. That's where they dove into that. I think it's paragraph 6, 1, 2. Yeah.
That's the last paragraph on that first page.
I will tell you how I'm thinking about this, Commissioner Skinner, which may be totally opposite of what you're thinking. I'm thinking that the number is ambitious enough, the goal number, that even if that is their current state of affairs,
Yeah,
they got 2 years in a row of that, great.
yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, and obviously, we're not gonna get that answer, but that's the way I'm looking at it, is the progressive number.
I think another way, if you were interested in getting more information, I could follow up, but it seems they're very focused on this number being the local number. And if you were looking for the number in context of the entire organization, maybe that'd be different, but they focus very much on how it's not tracked locally.
No, yeah, thanks, Crystal. I think I'm good with Commissioner Maynard's addition, because as I'm recalling of the applicants who did provide goals, I don't know if I even asked for overall spend. I mean, they certainly didn't volunteer it. So I'm okay. I mean, for the reason that Commissioner Maynard stated, I'm okay with checking the box on this one. Again, to the extent this was my ask.
Yes, I have it noted that it was Commissioner Skinner and Commissioner Maynard. And I'm not sure, I don't recall this number being included in the original document, so I think it does give some context. So the next component.
Yeah, and so, but in terms of C, then we're, I feel like I'm hearing,
Yeah,
right? Or D. My apologies.
it came up in C, but it would be D, yeah.
Okay.
That was the only section we had a request from.
Well, no, and I think we have a section, just a second. I just have to go out and then back in.
We did have 2 other requests.
It says other, but actually, this was a request that came from me, but I think universally from all of us, with respect to the go live date. So they as a section B response, which is fair. So in that response, I feel like we can check the box. I do note that the applicant on page, and I'm sure you all saw it as well, on page was it page this had it. Page 2 of 5.
Is it the final paragraph?
They're actually asking for commission's particular permission. which is an interesting request. Counselor Grossman, this is a matter that we wouldn't speak about in terms of, I believe it's all protected by executive session. I'm not sure I need to entertain that request as one commissioner, but I'm not sure how the other commissioners feel. And may feel that the rest of the request addresses the issue that got raised in the executive session. The direct request was satisfied. Do you see what I'm talking about, Commissioner O'Brien? I saw your look of,
Can you be more specific with the location you're talking about within the document?
well, I'm having a little trouble. That's why
It's page,
page changes on it. Okay, so if you scroll down and it says 1, 2, 3, 4, up 5.
Yeah.
It's on, it is at the bottom, last two paragraphs of 2 of 5.
Okay.
Which document, please?
the B4F01 that's tagged in line 3.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It ends that page and sort of rolls into the next one.
It
Right.
does roll to the next one, Commissioner, yes.
Right.
Let me just make sure that that's it. I wish I had printed it out and I didn't.
That is you're right on what you're.
Yeah, that's it. In this instance, that starts the sentence in the last paragraph, 2 of 5. Do you see the wording I'm talking about in this instance, that sentence?
I think I was looking at something else that looked like a request.
Oh, if you look
It's part of that. It's for the 4th sentence up from the bottom of page 2, about halfway into the.
Okay. I was at the beginning of the paragraph. I took the whole paragraph to be.
paragraph. Yeah.
Yeah. Nope. I'm in that spot. Yep.
And I'm saying I don't feel as though we need to entertain that. I feel that the rest of the submission satisfies request that was made, and that we don't need to explore that.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that.
Commissioner Skinner, Commissioner Maynard, Commissioner Hill, have you been able to follow? If you look at the page 2 of 5 at the very, very bottom.
I've got it.
Lines, yeah, got it.
Yeah, I have it. I'm just not ready to say whether the submission meets expectations or not.
I guess I would say it in a different way. I'm not sure, like, I would say that it is, for me, it is the supplement, it's the.
It's what we asked for. Yeah,
Yeah, is that a better way of saying it, Commissioner?
it is. Yeah, I guess a better way for me to say what I said is I'm not ready to, speak to the substance of.
When you evaluate how you're going to assess it, okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Maynard and Commissioner Hill?
I will weigh it against the application.
Agreed, same here.
Okay, good. All right, then, Crystal, let's see. Let's have to go back to that page.
Yes, and so the only pending component is in progress. IEB has provided updates as they go along about the supergroup suitability, and they are in the works, working on the attestations. So That's all for Digital Gaming Corp.
Kudos to Kara and her team for completing the scoping that Friday evening. And so there's just some more work on any idea from IEB when that might be done. They give that or no pressure, but I just wonder if
They hadn't noted exactly a timeline. I think it's a little bit on Digital Gaming Corp at this point. They've given them everything they would need, and I think Karen's most recent update was that they were waiting on those qualifiers and the individual participant.
okay.
I will continue to update you, as I'm sure Carol will.
Yeah, excellent. So we'll move on to points bet, commissioners. All set? All right.
And impressively, PointsBet for just going yesterday has submitted all the requests. We'll start with section D, which again was the providing a discretionary spend to compare their supplier diversity spend to, as well as the supplier diversity goal. They have compiled a DEI objectives document, which I've linked to here. That also includes the updated workforce numbers and the workforce diversity goal, which was line 3 here. So they're both in that document.
I'm satisfied with what was submitted, but I will note, no one wants to put a number to their discretionary spend. Yes, I don't know if that's standard or what, but it's interesting.
Okay, and that's on both sections for both submissions for section D, Commissioner Skinner and Commissioner Maynard.
Yes, for me.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Maynard, I believe you asked about the supplement, this supplier diversity supplement.
I'm reviewing it because I think there is a number in there. I'm fine with the information.
Okay. I've noted that. So in addition, we had asked for a transactional waiver, which was received. Sorry, I lost my place here. On line 5, you've also been provided the university partnership supplemental, which was in line with, I'm unsure, but I think Commissioner O'Brien asked for that. I'm not sure who asked for line 4. And then alongside that, there was a information relevant to the matter in Indiana, which I've fully provided the response here, as well as there are 2 documents below that. Those links are both, they both go with line 6.
I'm not sure. I think it might have been both commissioners. Well, I think first looking at the university partnership, I think, Crystal, you're right, that it was
That was me.
Commissioner O'Brien, yeah.
Yep.
And then, the next one, I think might be both you, Commissioner O'Brien, and Commissioner Skinner on, maybe more on, the Indiana matter. And then there are two last documents, which are related. Commissioner O'Brien, your thoughts on the university partnership supplement?
No, it checks the box.
Okay,
It gave me what I asked them to give me.
okay. And then be very careful not to leave the meeting accidentally. In terms of the Indiana matter, is that helpful? Does that satisfy that request? In the combination with the last two documents?
For me, yes.
Okay. Commissioner Hill, I'm not sure if you had asked about that as well.
I had seconded the request and it satisfies me as well.
Okay, excellent. And then Commissioner Skinner?
Sorry, Commissioner Skinner, we couldn't hear you. I think you just answered the question, but there was no volume.
Oh, my apologies. I missed,
We still can't hear you.
oh, no, but no wonder I missed it. Okay, I feel better.
Are you
I just was
muted?
wondering,
We
not
can't hear
hearing.
you.
Did you accidentally press your laptop button?
That's strange.
Oh, you were-
Weird.
She may have switched her microphone input by accident. I don't know if Tom or Crystal could run in maybe and see.
I can run in, but
Oh, did that work? No, Commissioner Skinner? So you didn't accidentally hit anything on your laptop? It's funny because we're all in the office too, so we literally could just be all in one room. Just don't have that technology quite yet. We had it. We had it. There we go, Commissioner Skinner. Thanks, Karen. Okay, so I was just asking about the Indiana matter, Commissioner Skinner.
I'm sorry, that was a mystery. I would say yes, the documentation that we have requested has been provided.
Okay, excellent, thank you. So nothing outstanding on PointsBet. All requests received, right, Crystal?
Correct.
Everybody went to your rescue, Commissioner Skinner. So anything that you want to go back to, commissioners, with respect to the applicants and supplemental information? So this will give us a chance to tonight go through the applications one more time. We have that grid from Crystal and Karen that captures our preliminary review, and then we'll return to sort of a section by section analysis based on the supplemental information. You can fully integrate it in your thinking for tomorrow. And then, as I pointed out in our the opening remarks, we would move into that more holistic look. We do have our consultants RSM available right now. It is 20 after 3. I think if I could make the suggestion, we take advantage of them being available today. It might also be helpful as we review our applications as we move into tomorrow's more fulsome discussion. Commissioners, would you want a short break before we turn to RSM? Or would you like to go right into RSM and I have a little bit of an introduction? I want to take your temperature on where we are moving in on the next segment. Yes? No?
I'm ready to move forward.
Okay. Commissioner O'Brien? Okay. Commissioner Skinner, Commissioner Maynard? So we have our consultants RSM here to provide a benchmark PowerPoint report to the commission, which compiles information on all the applicants to help the commission with the collective evaluation process. There's some information on the general market landscape, which is appropriate for the public session. However, much of the presentation contains proprietary and confidential information, which I expect will need to be discussed in executive session. So I think it's a very 2 slides that are public, and then we move into executive session if we so vote. And then we could say to the public that we would not be returning to a public session. That's how I see this working. Councilor Grossman, you'll have to set the stage for us, but that's how I'm imagining it procedurally. Does that work? If we're so moved?
Yeah, if that was directed at me, yes, that sounds like a good plan. Why don't we can start with the public information and then we can engage in our executive session discussion.
Okay, and so once RSM gets to that point, we'll engage in that process. All right. Good afternoon, Teresa. Nice to see you. And nice to see you, Connor.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I think today Connor will be leading the discussion, and I'll be adding context and clarity.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much.
I will share my screen. Hi, good afternoon, commissioners. RSM appreciates the opportunity to present to the Massachusetts Gaming Commission. We understand the importance of this licensing process and the importance of these meetings. As Chairwoman Judge Stein has indicated, the RSM team has been asked to join this meeting and provide a presentation regarding certain aspects pertaining to the financial projections of the applications on a consolidated basis. Specifically, RSM has been asked to provide insights based on our experience and research into sections B2, C2, and G3 of each Category 3 application. In addition to what was submitted by the applicants, we have conducted further independent market research to help provide context for what is being presented today. In today's presentation, we will provide a consolidated overview of the applicant pool's self-submitted projections, as well as operating metrics, and finally, the liquidity positions to commence sports wagering operations in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. While the focus today is on the untethered applicant pool, our presentation materials include all 11 Category 3 applicants to provide the Commission with a holistic view into the potential Massachusetts online sports betting market. We must note that PointsBet has not been reviewed by RSM due to a pre-existing independence conflict. Instead, PointsBet was reviewed by Littman Gerson Associates, LLP, or LGA for short. Finally, before moving on, it is important to state that RSM is merely presenting a fact-gathering exercise based on information provided by the IEP or through SEC filings. RSM is not expressing an opinion with respect to the suitability of each applicant or deficiencies of any applications before the Commission. The information in this presentation is provided at the request of the Commissioners to help them with their temporary licensing process. We will begin our presentation, or the public portion of our presentation, by discussing general market research we have conducted relating to consumer exposure to loss in the event of a legalized Massachusetts sports book declaring bankruptcy. The topic of consumer protection is one that has been in the news a lot recently, especially with the recent fallout regarding consumer protections in the FTX cryptocurrency bankruptcy. It is worth noting that the Commission has admirably made consumer welfare a focus of this application process. Outside of advertising and age verification, one leg of consumer protection is what were to happen to consumer monies if a sports book were to abruptly cease operations. During a bankruptcy, consumers lose access to their deposited accounts if proper safeguards are not in place. The emphasis there being on quote-unquote proper safeguards. To mitigate this risk, other states such as Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, Iowa, and Indiana have required that operators maintain minimum cash reserves and separate player deposits from separate the player deposits from the company's operating assets. Initial outcomes suggest that these safeguards were effective during the recent nationwide closures of Fubo Gaming and Maxim Bet sportsbooks. Many of these best practices have already been adopted by Massachusetts under Regulation 205, covering separation of funds and protection from predators. However, even the best regulations unfortunately do not protect against fraudulent activity. Monitoring for continued compliance amongst the licensed OSB providers is essential to protect customers in the event of bankruptcy. Given RSM's independent initial review of each applicant, RSM currently has no reason to believe any of the applicants in question has or will commit fraud and put customer funds at risk. RSM has prepared additional slides for the Commission, which contain publicly and competitively sensitive financial projections of the applicant pool. As discussed, we are happy to present this information or answer directed questions with just the Commission in an executive session. In the meantime, we are happy to address any questions the Commission may have on the materials presented thus far. And that ends our public portion of our presentation.
Commissioners, questions on this portion? Commissioners, any questions for Connor or Lisa? All right, if you want to take down the slide, please, that would be great. A copy of those slides are available to us, of course, commissioners. All right, so at this stage, then, RSM does have further information to provide for us, but it's recommended that it's best to be presented in executive session. Councilor Grossman, do you want to proceed?
Certainly. So this is in reference to section 4D little 1 of the commission's agenda. And it is expected that RSM will discuss specific information associated with its consolidated assessment of financial projections, trends, and the methodologies applied in reaching the views it and the applicants has relative to the information that this pool of applicants has provided as a whole, including revenue projections, market share percentage projections, potentially handle and hold percentages, the liquidity positions of the applicants, and other information associated with these matters, and that may relate to the financial suitability and stability of the applicants individually. Interestingly, the information that is likely to be provided would be competitively sensitive between and amongst the applicants themselves. So I believe this would just be RSM, the commissioners and staff included in this presentation. If that is in fact an accurate description of the information that the commission can expect to discuss with RSM, it is my assessment that this would meet the standards set out in section 6I of chapter 23N, in that all of the information is and has been provided in the course of an application for sports wagering operator licenses. It is all competitively sensitive and would be detrimental to each of the applicants if it were disclosed publicly. Accordingly, if the commission is so inclined, this is an appropriate matter to discuss in executive session.
So commissioners, if we're so inclined, we could move, and as if that's the case, you know that I have to read the language into the record. I'm assuming we want to hear from RSM. Okay. So the commission anticipates that it may meet in executive session in conjunction with its review of each of the category 3 untethered applications in accordance with GL chapter 30A, section 21A7, and GL chapter 23 and section 6, subsection I, to consider information submitted by the applicants in the course of the respective applications for an operator license as examined by RSM US LLP in the context of any discussed financial metrics, ratios, or associated financial measures that are trade secret, competitively sensitive, or proprietary, and which, if disclosed publicly, would place the applicant at a competitive disadvantage. I have a motion.
Madam Chair, I move that we go into executive session for the matters delineated by General Counsel Grossman and for the legal reasons stated by the chair just now.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or edits? All right, Commissioner O'Brien,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Skinner,
Aye.
Commissioner Maynard, and I vote yes, 5-0. Thank you. So we'll get transferred over to the breakout room. But beforehand, I want to point out that the public should not expect us to return to the public session. Our meeting is to end today around 4. Councilor Grossman, have I covered that adequately?
Yes, and just to clarify, of course, we will return to the public tomorrow, likely, but just not today.
Right, and our start time tomorrow is at 10 a.m. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. We do have a public meeting at 9. That's for our agenda setting. We're trying to stay up on top of everything, so we'll be convening at 9 for our agenda setting meeting and then reconvening this matter at 10. All right, thank you, Crystal. If you can do your magic, that'd be great. And thank you to the public for your interest. We appreciate it.
I could assign people to the breakout rooms right now, so I'm just going through the list. If I omit anybody, please let me know and I'll make sure they get added.
Thanks, Dave.